Good morning, students. Today, we will begin a very important chapter for your board examinations: gender, religion, and caste in Indian politics. Now, this is not just for marks. Understanding this is understanding our own country, our own society. So, let us begin.
So, what are we going to cover today? Please note down these key topics. First, the connection between democracy and our social differences. Then, we will look at gender and politics. After that, religion and politics, and then caste and politics. And finally, we will learn to see what is a healthy expression of these differences and what is unhealthy.
You see, in a very big and diverse country like ours, like India, having social differences is completely normal. It is natural. But politics is what decides if these differences are managed properly, in a good way, or if they become a source of conflict and fighting. This is the main point.
Okay, let us start with our first major topic. Students, please listen very carefully now. We are going to discuss the very important issue of gender and how it affects politics. Now, you will see this term in your book, sexual division of labor. This is a very important definition for your examination. You must remember this. So what is it? It is a system where society says that work inside the house is for women and paid work outside the house is for men. Kindly note this point. This is based on social expectation. It is not based on ability.
So what is the problem with this? Let me explain in simple words. The work that women do inside the home, cooking, cleaning, taking care of everyone, it is not paid. It is not seen as real work. Because of this, women are often undervalued and they have less power and less voice in public life. But the result of this inequality is political action. Women started organizing. You see feminist movements asking for equality. You see protests on the news for women's safety. There have been demands for many years to give more seats to women in the parliament, like the reservation bill, and the focus on Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. It is all a political expression of this gender issue. And does all this political action work? Yes. Look at this chart carefully. In the Lok Sabha, the number of women is still very low, less than 15%. But look at the local panchayats. It is more than 33%. Why is there such a big difference? Because in the panchayats, 1/3 of seats are reserved for women by law. This shows that political decisions can bring real change. Now, we come to our next topic. It is a very sensitive topic, so I need your complete attention. We are going to discuss religion and politics and the challenge of something called communalism. It is a crucial concept to understand. So what is communalism? Kindly note this point for your exam. Communalism is the belief that people from one religion have the same interests and that their interests are against the interests of other religions. In simple words, it is using religion for politics. I will repeat, it is the use of religion in politics. Now, why is this so dangerous for our country? It happens in steps. First, it creates stereotypes, thinking that all people of that religion are like this. Then it moves to one religious group trying to dominate others politically. This can lead to mobilizing voters only on the basis of religion. And in its worst form, this communal politics leads to riots and violence. It is very dangerous for the unity of our nation.
Our constitution makers, they were very wise. They understood this danger very well. That is why they decided that India will be a secular state. What does that mean? It means the state, our government, does not have its own official religion. It treats all religions equally.
All right, let us move to the final social division for today, caste. Now, caste is something that is very unique to Indian society, and it has a very deep, very big impact on our politics. For hundreds and hundreds of years, our society had a caste system. It created a hierarchy, a ladder, with some groups considered high and others considered low. This led to terrible discrimination and injustice, especially against the so-called lower castes.
So this brings us to a very tricky question. Is it always a bad thing when caste is mentioned in politics? Now listen carefully. Many students make a mistake here. They think that any mention of caste in politics is wrong. But let me explain why this is not so simple. You must understand this clearly. When communities that have faced discrimination for centuries come together, when they organize and use politics to demand an end to that discrimination, when they ask for their fair share of power and respect, this is actually a healthy and positive thing. It strengthens our democracy by giving a voice to those who did not have one before.
So this brings us to the most crucial point of this entire chapter. How do we know when the expression of our identity, be it gender, religion, or caste, is helping our democracy and when it is hurting it? This is the main question. This slide makes it very clear. Look here. What is a healthy expression? It is when you demand rights and justice for your group, but without opposing others or taking away their rights. For example, asking for a school in your village. What is unhealthy? It is when you demand benefits for your group at the cost of another group, or when you claim that your group is superior to others. This weakens democracy.
So what is the final takeaway? What is the main lesson you must remember? Democracy is not about removing our differences. It is about managing our differences peacefully and making sure there is justice for every single group in our society.
I hope this is clear to everyone. These are complex topics, but they are very important. Please go home and revise these points properly for your examination. This is a very important chapter.
क्या आप एक योग्य शिक्षक हैं जो सही मंच की तलाश में हैं, या एक स्कूल जिसे जरूरत है बेहतरीन टैलेंट की? रास्ते बहुत हैं, लेकिन सही मंजिल सिर्फ एक। प्रस्तुत है schoolcarrier.in।
दरवाजों को अब तुम छोड़ दो, उम्मीदों की नई राहें अब जोड़ लो। न भटकना है ना रुकना है अब कहीं, तुम्हारी मंजिल का पता है बस यही। स्कूल को चाहिए टैलेंट और आपको चाहिए ग्रोथ, यहाँ खत्म होती है आपकी हर वो हो खोज। प्रिंसिपल हो या टीचर, एडमिन हो या कोच, बदलो अपनी दुनिया, बदलो अपनी सोच। हजारों मौके लाखों उम्मीदें यहाँ जुड़ती है, तरक्की की राहें अब आपकी ओर मुड़ती है। बस एक क्लिक और करियर है सेट। schoolcarrier.in है आपका सच्चा मददगार। schoolcarrier.in सपनों को सच बनाएंगे। schoolcarrier.in बेहतर कल सजाएंगे। स्कूलों की दुनिया करियर का है ये द्वार, सफलता चूमेगी कदम, अब होगा बेड़ा पार। schoolcarrier.in लिखो सफलता की नई कहानी, बदलो अपनी तकदीर पुरानी। सपनों को अब पंख लगाओ, schoolcarrier.in पर अपनी राह बनाओ। आज ही जुड़े, आज ही भागे, schoolcarrier.in जहां शिक्षा और करियर मिलते हैं।
नमस्कार। क्या आप स्कूल में नौकरी ढूंढ रहे हैं, लेकिन सही वैकेंसी की जानकारी आपको समय पर नहीं मिलती? और अगर आप एक स्कूल चला रहे हैं, तो क्या आपको भी योग्य और भरोसेमंद स्टाफ ढूंढने में परेशानी होती है? आज यही समस्या हजारों लोगों और स्कूलों के सामने है। दोनों को एक दूसरे की जरूरत है, लेकिन फिर भी दोनों एक दूसरे तक पहुंच नहीं पाते। यही समस्या हमने देखी और इसी से जन्म हुआ schoolcarrier.in का। ये एक ऐसा ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां स्कूल अपनी वैकेंसी पोस्ट कर सकते हैं और उम्मीदवार सीधे उन नौकरियों के लिए आवेदन कर सकते हैं। यहाँ केवल टीचर्स ही नहीं, बल्कि स्कूल से जुड़े कई पदों के अवसर उपलब्ध हैं, जैसे ऑफिस स्टाफ, कंप्यूटर ऑपरेटर, अकाउंटेंट, लाइब्रेरियन और अन्य पद। हमारा लक्ष्य है स्कूलों और योग्य उम्मीदवारों को एक ही मंच पर जोड़ना, अगर आप स्कूल में अपना करियर बनाना चाहते हैं या अपने स्कूल के लिए बेहतरीन स्टाफ ढूंढना चाहते हैं तो आज ही विजिट कीजिए www.schoolcareer.in।